answer.
So one question was, I was started a little bit, I wasn't consistent with it, but I started starting to add in a cue of just like pointing.
Yeah.
But multiple times when I was doing that, he would start getting kind of confused. Like he would, I think it's because like so far when I'm reaching my arm out, it's to hand him his food. And so he kept thinking I was like trying to like hand him something. And so he would like reach towards my pointing hand. And then I was just gonna ask, like, do you recommend I just kind of keep doing it? He wasn't doing it every time, but like around half of the time he would kind of do it. I didn't want to confuse him. So is there a different cue you'd recommend using? Just like maybe kind of like looping my hand? I don't know. Yeah.
I try to use the cue that comes natural to me as a human,
Mm-hmm.
because that is the movement. Like if I see a cow and I want my horse to go around it, my natural tendency is to point instead of making a pirouette or jump, you know?
Right.
So I do something that is very natural also in case like other people have to manage my horses.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, if your horse is confused, so question number one is when did you, what was he doing when you introduced the cue? Was he doing the behavior you want him to do?
I mean, I was just because he's been good at like he'll walk to the next like he'll just start walking. So I just was trying to do it right before he was starting to walk. So it was right before I knew he was about to do the thing.
Yeah,
So that's
I
when I was
would
doing it.
like, then I would start with, it sometimes it depends on the horse as well and what your history is, but sometimes when they are walking towards the cone, then you point and then you put your cue a little bit like earlier and earlier until he's standing still and you
Got it.
point and he's doing it. And
Okay.
if you point and he stops and looks at you, the moment he has his neck straight, click and treat again.
Okay.
Just to, and then like, okay, neck straight is making it very small, then forward leaning, and then one step and two steps and so on, so that you, with the click, you really guide him to the right behavior. Like if
Okay.
he looks forward and the next time he already walks forward because suddenly he sees the cone and the habit is to walk around the cone, then you can click for that a few times until like, yeah, make it really clear. Don't be afraid to click too much, just for this is temporary, just to give him clarity.
Right. Okay. So I'll start doing it a little later once he's already taking a step forward, just to kind of once he's in the movement. And then if he's still getting confused and if he stops to do it, then I will just start
Yeah, and add the
clicking
cue,
from the
like
behavior.
you pointing or whatever you choose. It's up to you. But add the cue at a point where he's doing the behavior and the likelihood of him keep doing the behavior is high. If you, yeah. So if you know
Yep.
like, okay, it's just before the cone and he wants to reach the cone because good things happen at the cone, then that's like, okay, that's, or when he's just about to start, it just kind of depends. And this is
Yeah.
the
I'll mess around a little bit and see. Because I think, like I said, I think obviously he was just thinking like, oh, you must be handing me something. And so I think if I do it once he's already in movement, that might help a little bit more.
Yeah, and then the moment he does it, so he's in movement, you point, immediately click and treat. So don't expect him to build that duration because he will pay attention because you are moving. It's like, huh, what were you saying? So if you then click and treat, like, and like usually if you do that like a few times, like 4 or 5 times in a row, then he learns, okay, I have to move when, you know, that. And I will talk
Cool.
about a similar thing to help your horse create speed today. I made visuals this morning, and it's like the same principle. So yeah,
Perfect.
hello everybody. Rachel was just explaining that she has some family and she had like a burning question. So I'm like, let that get out of the way. How did it all go? Any questions this week?
No, this week went really good. Felt like we made good progress this week.
I saw your video this morning.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that was from a few days ago.
Yeah, I know.
I did another video, or well, I mean, I didn't upload one, but I was able at least twice this morning to get him to go around all 4 cones before I click and treat. So,
And don't forget, in the beginning, once he can do like 4 cones, also lower your criteria sometimes, like click for 3 cones or click for 2 cones, just to keep that enthusiasm.
mhm.
Because if we only raise, there can be the likelihood of that there will be a point that the horse thinks like, yeah, you know what, today I don't feel like it. But if sometimes it's just like, oh, 1 cone, oh, surprise, then you keep that motivation and offering the movement really high. Like, because like in the beginning, you reinforce like 100% of all the good answers, every step towards yada yada yada. But we must not forget that like once in a while we just give like, oh, you chose to go to cone number 1, whoa, click and treat, or just a treat. That can also be something because they know what they get the behavior for usually. So just to get that variability in there, because if they don't know when they will, if you have like, if the behavior is built and you give a little bit less predictability about what you're going to do, motivation stays high. If I go to the casino and I know I will win $100 every time I do the slot machine, it's like, you know what, today I don't need $100. So I don't do it. I don't pull the slot machine. I don't do the behavior. But if it's like, ooh, and that's why casinos make so much money. Ooh, maybe today I'm lucky. Once in a while, ooh, you're very lucky. So, yeah, it's kind of basically the same principle. We want to keep them engaged by, yeah, giving them a little bit of unpredictability about the reward once the behavior is learned and starts becoming a habit. That is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and also in the comment of my video, I noticed you said it's time to start adding speed. Are you suggesting whenever I'm going into speed, like maybe do short segments of just asking him to trot just a minute and then that's it to start?
Really good question. We will talk about that today. That's the today's topic. And language matters. So I will just say this, like, you will not asking him to trot. You will set it up so he will offer trot, because when horses decide to move, decide to offer trot, it's way more, you get less friction and less frustration, because sometimes what happens if you cue your horse to trot? I'm not saying that this is just in general, like when you cue your horse to trot and the horse doesn't trot, or he does it but he's like, I don't feel like it, which is completely a different feeling, in my opinion, from just observing when they offer trot because they want something. Then their motivation is really high, and they, it all has to do with dopamine and stuff. I don't want to go in that too much, but then it's like, ooh, I want to do this because I want to, earn something in return, which sometimes, especially if horses, this is just general, have like traditional training, most horses do, then it's like, oh, trot, and that's like connected with something, I don't want to do it or whatever. So in this setup, because this setup is fresh and is new, it's a really good idea to keep at following their pace, and then like let them offer the behavior by changing your environment in a way that they will offer it, because that's kind of basically then like the secret of being successfully at Liberty Rectangle. And I will talk about how to do that in step by step today. And I'm recording it, so if you want to take revise this, I made some visuals anyway. Yeah, and I do think like your horse is ready for Bo is ready for more speed, because if we stay too long doing the same old, we get that predictability of like almost 99%, and then they will make a decision based on the predictability, and it's like, me, I don't feel like it today because I know exactly what treat I'm gonna get, where I'm gonna get it, and what for. So then they decide like, okay, I opt out because you know what, I don't feel like it. You keep the treat, I keep my freedom of choice, and then you see a decline in motivation. But if your horse like Bo and like Kika too know what to do, and then you can change like the environment a little bit, like the circumstances, the antecedents a little bit, and then you keep them engaged because they have like a lot of information, but not all the information. And that's like, what are we going to do today? What do I get? And then you create like the motivation, and then it just becomes more fun. That's my opinion. If the horse likes it, it's it's more fun. Like I didn't never like to exercise Kira when she was like, do I have to? I will do it for a treat, but so yeah. So that's how I developed like, okay, how can I change my environment so that my horse will offer this? And it was really a game changer. Patricia, any questions?
Well, I've got a bit of a problem with Kika now because she suddenly got quite aggressive.
Hmm.
Not in a quite a threatening. Well, she's not actually biting or kicking me, but she's kind of wanting to.
Okay.
And I don't know what's brought this on, because the other day I went in with her to the stand school, and to get her into, so I could go inside the rectangle, I had to sort of dance around her because she was kind of backing up on me and going sideways and so on. And so we did that, and she suddenly went, okay, I'll go round. Round she went at a trot on her own volition, but so angry about it somehow. Well, this isn't right. So I said, right, let's stop. And I made her, eventually she stood beside me quietly, like patient, so I picked and treated for that. But then when I tried to leave the arena, she was kind of after me again. So I thought, I don't like this, and I don't know quite how to deal with it. Whether she gets over the threshold very quickly, or I mean, she's fine.
Like,
I don't
you
have.
told me about this like weeks ago, that you already saw that she was like a little bit like that was her ears.
Yeah, but she's got worse suddenly, and it's not fear, and I'm sure it's not pain.
Maybe it is like a lack of clarity, that they get like a little bit frustrated, and that has built over time. In one of your videos, if you look back, the same thing kind of happened when just before you go to your cones. She's very confused. Where do you want me to go? And I don't know if that's true. It's like you start training at the cones, while her training starts as soon as you enter the arena with her.
Yeah, I think, it's me trying to walk with her without her trying to herd me or get sideways onto me. Or, I mean, the other day she was kicking out at me. I got a cow kick forward. I thought, I didn't know donkeys could do that.
Yeah, they can kick to all sides. It's
So,
anyway. Well, what I would like you to try is when you enter the arena, guide her with your target stick, because she knows what to do. And then once you like are in the cones, in the cone zone, then you can either keep your target away or whatever, not using it, because the cones are the visual cues at that point for the behavior that we want. But it's probably that she doesn't know that she's searching, and then one day you do something else, walking to the cones with her. Depending on her behavior, you react different than the next day. So if you just this is just, we don't know what's going on in her head. We just simply don't have enough information. But what we can do is give her lots of information and see how that influenced that behavior, if it goes away. Otherwise, we have to do more in-depth detective work.
Okay. She's only just 3, so maybe it's teenage behavior, I don't know. Because I mean, Dolly stands there looking quite amazed, you know, so what is she doing?
Yeah, maybe, but like, since she's doing that rectangle so well, maybe it's clarity. That's the first thing that comes in my mind, just also based on that snippet of a video. And like I said, I don't have all the information. I have the snippet of that information, but she was just doing that, and you were just didn't know what to do.
I'm trying to get away from her to get where I want to go without her biting me or dodging.
So that could be the part that she remembers. Okay, I can like herd you or control you to go whatever. So maybe I can control you to do other stuff with this specific behavior, which we consider then like a little bit of aggressive behavior.
Like, it seems to be, I noticed today, I took them to the arena, no treats, no nothing. Got in there and I said, right, not today. And there was no problem. I didn't have my treat bag, so I thought maybe that triggers her in some way.
Yeah, because sometimes they can get very frustrated if they see a treat bag. They expect something because of the environment. The environment gives them cue about what to expect. So, treat bag, treats, training, and then it's when is it going to happen? So I would start trying giving her more information with more clicks and treats, and then fade out the clicks and treats. And starting while you have your treat bag on, you enter the arena, or you have just set up your camera or whatever, and you're going to the cones, just ask her to follow the target.
Yeah.
And if you do that consistently, then you can fade out the target stick by making it shorter, and then turning it into an arm movement. And then that's my first thing, how I would do it. Maybe need to evaluate the values of the treats. Yeah, that's a good one. How do you think Kika values the treats, like high value, low value, medium?
Well, I think she values everything quite high.
I know.
I mean, I give her celery, basically, which I think is a very low value treat. And when she's been very, very good, I give her a bit of carrot or a bit of carrot. But anything seems to be high value to her. It doesn't matter. Celery, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I believe that because you have clicker trained her for a while, it's then the training in itself becomes so highly valuable, because like not a lot of things happen in in their environment. My ponies too, they're in the paddock. Nothing happens. Occasionally, a car drives by. They don't even care about that. If there's like a runner or maybe a horse that passes by, or a deer or a coyote, then suddenly like, oh, something is happening. And for the rest, it's like, okay, Sandra's happening.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
are the highlight of their day often. So they are already like, oh, treat pouch, oh, training is happening. So they are already in that state. So by just giving them clarity, and like I must say, you have like a very calm demeanor about you when I watch your videos. So you're not like "Ooh," all over the place and let's train. So that's good. So yeah, I do believe that like maybe you need 10 treats to lead her to the cones. Maybe 5, I don't know, but just giving her something to do, because it can be that she's like, especially when she doesn't know that many cues yet, then they will try everything that worked in the past. And sometimes because she loves you, attention is enough, even if you say, "Ah, get out of my way." Oh, attention. She saw me. Maybe she will click now because I have her attention. We have engagement. So they will try everything that worked in the past.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's also that annoying behavior like blocking you, or like a little bit aggressive behavior that we didn't pay attention to in the past. But it's also, that's their nature. Like, yeah, if they want to play, like if my two horses want to play, it usually starts with sniffing. And if there's no reaction, it's like, teeth. Now you
Yeah.
want to play? No. Okay, teeth again. And then retreat. That's how. And then finally the other one gets so annoyed that he will engage
Right.
in play. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
do think that's just their nature. And yeah, we
Yeah.
people do it all the time. Like look at how a tantrum builds up in a toddler of 2 that just learned to say no,
Yeah.
that doesn't get the reaction that they want. So the toddler puts pressure on the parent, and they learn
Yeah.
pretty quickly that maybe this doesn't work at home, but in the supermarket when strangers are around, ooh, it's a powerful tool to scream or whatever. So yeah, we use it too.
Yeah.
And we forget, but yeah, that's so yeah, I would say try to give her more information about that piece before, when you think training start and when she thinks like we are engaged, and then yeah, build from there. Anything else people want to discuss, ask?
No, you've given me clarity.
Clarity in clicker training. Yes, that's what we want. And that's sometimes a real challenge to figure out how can we give another species clarity, because sometimes what we think is clarity, like I told you to go around the cone, it's like they hear like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
let's see where I will share my screen. Just have to close one of the million tabs that I have open, because I am a female multitasker. Okay, slideshow from beginning. Share screen. So today I will also would like to talk about management a little bit, because with management is one of the 3 pillars to keep our horses happy and healthy. The other ones for overweight horses are exercise and nutrition. I don't do the nutritional thing. So today I would like to talk a little bit about the management of your horse, how you keep him, and then talk about training, criterion, speed, and again Q&A. Oh, I will go back and I will make 2 separate videos of this, and I don't have to edit it. So I will stop and start